This video is not meant for children under 13, as it contains strong language and jokes that may be inappropriate for young viewers. So there you go, parents. Your stupid kid has been warned. Now fuck off! But before this video can start, it's ad time! Because my broadcast desperately needs the money.
What the fuck?
This video is sponsored by the Stamp Plarail store. Now, if you've been on my channel long enough, you know I absolutely love the Stamp Plarail store for helping me build out my massive Plarail collection.
Damn, boy!
Stamp offers you discontinued used Plarail models that are in amazing condition for a fair price. And if you don't believe the models are in good condition, check out this Gordon I bought out from him. It's perfect.
A masterpiece!
But not only will you get a mint condition model from Stamp, you'll get them at a good price, get fast shipping on it, and have amazing customer service by the lovely and amazing SP!
Hello!
But wait! There's more!
If you guys want to save even more money, then get this. Use my promo code upon purchasing Dreamline10, and you'll get a whopping 10% off your first purchase!
What? Thanks!
So what are you waiting for? You better call Stamp and get that Plarail collection of your dreams. Visit the Stamp Plarail store today. Link in the description. God, I'm exhausted, man.
Stow it, Greg. It's too early to complain.
Well, I just don't understand why we have to do these damn runs so early in the morning. Why can't we do them during the day like all the other trains?
Well, don't make the rules, Greg, or just follow them. And regardless, we still gotta do it. So stop complaining.
Fine. But I doubt he'll stop complaining about it.
Psst. Henry. Henry, wake up!
What? Oh God, I'm tired. What the hell do you want, Charlie?
It's time, Henry.
Already? Can't I just have like 5 more minutes of sleep?
No, we're leaving now.
Fine. Let's just get it over with.
Wow, there's a lot more fish here than usual. Yeah, supply and demand, am I right?
Oh God, I hate doing these long fish runs. I swear to God, if I have more than one accident while pulling this, I'm quitting. It's bad enough I have to wake up early for this.
You'll just have to put up with it, Henry. But I overheard the Tomy Henry says that if we pulled the kipper without any problems, we might get to pull the express tomorrow.
Really, Charlie? You mean it?
Yes, old boy. So what do you say? Shall we pull the flying kipper in style?
I say we let the skipper fly.
The last van is all loaded up. All good on this end. Ready when you are, Henry.
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Henry the Green Engine is one of the strongest characters in Thomas the Tank Engine. To put it bluntly, Henry just feels different from all the other engines, both in the show and the book. For one, Henry has the most in-depth backstory out of all the other main characters in the series, and he is the one that goes through the most trials and errors out of any other engine in Thomas. And his stories are just so fucking iconic, man. I know I said in my Edward video that Edward was my favorite character in Thomas, and that statement is still true, but Henry is my second favorite character in Thomas. To me, these two are the most essential characters in Thomas. They were the first two characters to be created by the Wilbur Audrey himself, and these two are the fucking backbone of this whole franchise. So in today's video, we're not only talking about one of my favorite Thomas characters ever made, we're talking about one of my favorite Plarail models ever made. I've been wanting to do a review on Henry for a while now, so I think it's time we finally cross another thing off my bucket list, and finally review everyone's favorite big, strong green engine, Henry. So let's not waste any more of your time and jump right into it, shall we?
Whoa, hey, wait. Okay, you have done so many reviews that you didn't even think about having a backstory in each of them. You know, such as your Lady, Arian Bird, Bertram review, and all that stuff. Like, how come you haven't had me in your backstory reviews on each of the characters? And you know what? I'm sick and tired of just being left out.
What the fuck? Bradley, how the fuck did you get in here?
In fact, you still promised me that Oliver review from last year, and you completely trashed it.
First of all, I didn't trash anything. That Oliver review will still happen. It's just been delayed. And secondly, do these fuckers even have a backstory or any purpose at all to be on the fucking island? Ari and Bert don't have one that's made clear. Clearly Bertram doesn't have one for all of like 10 seconds he appears. And this bitch ain't even canon, so who the fuck cares? Now, if you excuse me, I was about to do a deep dive into Henry's backstory.
Look, if you don't need me as the backstory guy, that's fine. I mean, I always wanted to do backstory reviews on certain characters, especially the important ones, but if you don't want me to do it, I'll just leave the review then. And just feel forever alone, I guess.
Goddamn my 2% of a conscience. Alright, fine, you could stay and do the backstory, mostly because I kinda don't want to. Now hurry up, we're like 5 minutes into the video and we still haven't even talked about the model yet.
Wait, you want me to do the backstory? Like, for real? Or is this just a setup?
Just do the damn backstory before you wind up in a barrel in Mexico!
Alright then, on to the backstory. Henry was built in 1919 as a flawed Grizzly design, and while it looked like the engine was going to be just fine, it had a lot of problems. The most common one was that the engine had a smaller firebox. In 1922, the Fat Controller needed a new engine to run the Northwestern Railway, mainly to pull the express, and instead of getting an Atlantic like he wanted, he instead got Henry, the flawed Grizzly design. And what was his reaction?
I wanted an Atlantic, and that son of a bitch sent me that! What the fuck?!
Yeah, not gonna lie, this sounds pretty harsh. What a way to introduce a character. Anyway, Henry decided to pull a train in the rain, and when that happened, he got stuck in it. And of course, it caused so many people to say this was the darkest episode of all time, and now people just look at it and say, wow, this is dark. Like, who thought it would be a good idea to break up an engine and tunnel? Like, that's pretty messed up.
Clickbait.
No, nuts, I tell you what actually happened. You see, what actually happened was Henry decided to stay in the tunnel, refused to get out because of said rain, or maybe it was the insults, but mostly the rain. And just like that, he got bricked up in the tunnel. And it's kind of what he got, so he kind of deserved it. Love it or hate it, just say it, it's not dark. Stop saying it's dark. It's just not. Because in the next episode, he actually gets out of the tunnel after Gordon bursts his safety valve, and Henry is all good to go, especially when he's helping Edward pull the express. Huh, how nice. As time went on, whether you call it the Railway series or TV series, depending on which era, Henry was either painted blue and still had problems, or just kept his green paint and still had problems. And at time to time, he was always written as being sick. Why? Well, because Audrey wanted him as an Atlantic engine when it came to writing him or drawing his character bases, but each illustrator just decided to say either Green Gordon or Blue Gordon, like they simply didn't care. And I'm talking about every illustrator that did this, which made Audrey hate the character so much that he decided to write him off entirely. That is until a lot of children requested that Henry should be used more, and instead of writing him off, he decided to give him a deeper backstory about the whole Atlantic thing. And of course, after Henry had so many problems with bad coal, the Fat Controller decided to give him a fair chance by giving him special Welsh coal. And things seemed to be nice at the end, right? Right? No, because in late 1934 in a winter train when Henry was pulling the Flying Kipper, he had the most horrific accident of all time. And that meant, well, Henry's written off the show. Looks like he's never going to be seen again. Until you've realized that in 1935 he returned as an LMS Black 5, and while some people may consider him Henry II in the Railway series or just not Henry, don't worry, I'm just gonna say it. It's the same Henry. No, seriously, if it was a different Henry, then where would we be at to this day? Don't worry, it's not like that. I swear. I swear to God, it's not like that.
Hey guys, remember the original version of Henry the Green Engine Audrey wrote the N-word? God damn it, YouTube, you never let me do anything fun!
So Henry was rebuilt as an LMS Black 5, and while you think that he's much better now, not needing special coal and being a much stronger engine, he's still a jerk, and that's hilarious. Like, it's funny. Like, everything changed except his personality. And his personality was just the same curmudgeon engine. Because in most stories, you either see Henry as grumpy, a jerk, and rude to others.
I deserve a new coat of paint. Sir Topham Hatt says I'm the pride of the line, and rubbish, huffed Henry. We're all the pride of the line. Whenever that owl hoots, a mist rolls in, murmured Edward. Stupid bird, said Henry.
Anyway, you look silly enough to be a clown. You should be in a circus.
Owls, mists, ghosts. Edward's going soft at the boiler. There's no mist. Pah! You're late, and that smell is making me ill. There's danger on the rails. That's why we're late. Ha! You're the only danger on the rails, Thomas. Now stop wasting time and get your cars hitched to my train.
Until you get to that one specific episode in Season 3. That's right, Henry does have a soft spot unlike other engines, and his soft spot is the forest, which is so beautiful to him and very relish. And it looked like things were going to be just fine for him until a storm occurred in the island, and just like that, Henry was now depressed. So depressed that many people were depressed in this episode. Oh, and by the way, Audrey hated this episode because of railway regulations, and look, I get you railway regulations, but it's a sad episode and it has a wholesome ending. Stop torturing it. After that, Toby decided to give Henry some new trees, Henry's all happy, and things go out just fine. It isn't until we get to the most important arc of Henry's stories in the Railway series, is when after Henry was, well, had a little bit of a tender incident with 6 carbon tenders, he felt like he was at his lowest point, thinking that everyone was going to assault him, make him feel like a dreadful engine, until I saw a diesel broke down with a goods train, decided to pull that diesel with the goods train, saw another diesel that broke down while pulling a passenger train, decided to push him, which the diesel actually helped Henry with the coaches while the other one just stood there like an asshole. And like that, Henry had the most significant presence of his own time, being Super Rescue, where he felt like a total champ and everyone loved him and thought he was the best character overall. You know, this backstory's maybe gone too far. I don't know if it's a backstory or just a character analysis, but it's something, I guess. Well, a lot of people love Henry.
Alright guys, now it's time for everyone's favorite part of these reviews, the history lesson. And in honor of my friend Shane's birthday, I'm gonna let him do the history lesson because Henry is his favorite character. Alright Shane, take it away.
In 1993, Plarail released their first model of Henry. It was first released with a painted face but was later re-released with a separated molded one. This model came with a small gray box truck and a small gray wagon with some logs. Then, in 2003, Plarail redesigned Henry, giving him a classic white running board, painted face, etc. Not only that, Henry also got some updated rolling stock. The 2003 Henry came with a troublesome truck and a troublesome van. This Henry would go unchanged for many, many years. Until one unfortunate day in 2018 when Plarail made another fuck up with this fucking ugly bitch, but we'll get to that thing later.
So now we get to that part of the review where I tell you lovely people how I got my Plarail Henry. And well, to start, I guess I better take you guys back to 2021. Right after getting Toby, Percy, and Thomas, I wanted to get either Edward or Henry. But as you all know from my Edward review, I was having trouble finding an Edward, so I settled for the next best thing, Henry. So after saving up whatever little money I could get, I went on eBay and found a brand new in-box Henry for about $80. But then, 2 weeks later, something unexpected happened. It came in the mail. What, you thought there was going to be like some huge thing like I got scammed or something? Nah. Henry arrived to my house with no incident. And cut to like 3 years later and it's still in my collection, looking as pretty as the day I opened it. Alright you guys, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for and start reviewing these models, shall we?
Oh, wait just a minute. Hold on. You're doing a character review. Well, a toy review of a character. How about I participate? I promise not to be judgy like I did in the original Plarail, Edward. I promise. I learned my lesson.
Oh, Jesus Christ, with this guy already. Alright, fine, you could stay and do the review with me. I don't care. Can we please just review the damn toys already? Let's start where it all began with this original Tomy Henry. And yeah, as you can see, the model is pretty dated. His footplate isn't painted white like Plarail's newer models. A lot of the details on the spoiler isn't painted. And his tender is just one giant sticker. And let's be honest, nobody likes stickers. Yeah, let's be honest, this model is nowhere near as good as the magnificent 2003 Henry. But does that make the model bad? Hell no. This model is a perfect example of an oldie but a goodie, because despite not having the signature Plarail painted details, it is still so damn good. Like the face, for example, captures Henry perfectly, and the overall shape and proportions of the model looks almost identical to how Henry looks in the TV show. In fact, the simplicity of this model kinda gives me Wooden Railway vibes. Now let's talk about the rolling stock this model comes with. We get this small little gray box van which kinda looks like the salt wagon, even though it kinda doesn't at the same time. And then we get this small little car which I swear to God looks like the exact same cart that Trevor pulls around in Twin Troubles. But one thing special about this car is got these 3 little logs which I actually kinda like. Kinda reminds me of that little scene from Henry's Forest. Despite being very obsolete by the new guy, this model of Henry is still a solid model in my opinion. I'm sure those 90s kids who grew up with this model of Henry are feeling some high level of nostalgia towards it. So I'm going to be nice and give this model a solid 8.5 out of 10. Oh, and by the way, I still have the original box this thing came in. This box is actually pretty cool, featuring some amazing artwork and details. But unfortunately it has this prototype version of Henry on it, and goddamn, that face to this day still haunts my nightmares.
Ah, the original Plarail Henry. Simple and plain, that's all I can say. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, this item looks great. I love it. It's beautiful. For an original model in the 90s.
So much for not being judgmental.
Hey, come on. Everyone has their own opinions. And plus, I'm a Wooden Railway collector.
You fucking hypocrite.
Okay, I promise. I won't be nitpicking original Plarail models. I won't. Jesus. While many people do prefer the Plarail version made in 2003, I'm not gonna lie that the original looks very nice. It feels really genuine, and I think that when a lot of people had that Henry as a kid, they absolutely adored this engine. They probably adored it more than Edward, but we were kids, what did you expect? For me, I give this item an 8 out of 10. I wanted to give it a 9, but you know what? The Edward one always gets me more. But hey, at least it's a higher ranking than other items. Looking at you, 2018 Plarail Edward.
Fuck you!
Alrighty then, it's time to talk about the model you've all been waiting for, the 2003 Plarail Henry. And my god, this thing is such an improvement over the 1993 Tomy Henry. You really start to see how much Plarail can change within the span of 10 years. They gave Henry the iconic white running board and all the painted details on his boiler, and that sticker on Henry's tender is now all printed details. One thing that I like that Plarail did for both Henry and Gordon is that they gave him these massive fucking side rods, instead of the more usual side rods they give almost every other character. I'm guessing they did this so they can make the bigger engines a little bit more unique, and so their side rods can look a lot more accurate to how they look in the show. The face they gave Henry, man, looks so good. Like, you can already tell the 1993 model already captured Henry perfectly, but Plarail made it so much better by painting both the eyes and mouth. It makes them all look a lot more alive if you ask me. But the one thing I love most about this model is that it looks like Plarail just looked at Henry's model in the show and then copied and pasted onto a Plarail body.
It's beautiful.
Alrighty then, now it's time to talk about the rolling stock Henry comes with. This model of Henry comes with a troublesome truck and a troublesome van. These two are both great and are perfect additions if you want to have that big ass shunting yard with a huge pile of troublesome trucks. Though not gonna lie, I kinda wish Plarail would have done something a little bit different with Henry, like maybe giving him an express coach, maybe the red one so it's more easily available. Or if we are gonna do the truck route, I wish Plarail would have given this truck some sort of cargo in it, like how about some fish crates since Henry's famous job is pulling the flying kipper. Or how about some trees, man, since Henry is a nature lover, it would be nice if we had some sort of nature representation. But that's just me nitpicking, as I still think this is one of Plarail's best models they've ever made. In fact, it might even be the best Henry representation in toy form. Everything is just so right about this model, and I'm sure any Henry fan will be more than pleased with this model. So I have no choice but to give this 2003 Plarail Henry a 10 out of 10.
Boom, baby! The 2003 Plarail version. It's perfect, I love it. That's all I can say. Actually, I'll put a little bit more detail on that. I gotta admit, when Plarail re-released their items in 2003 in the most prestige and perfectionist conditions, they all look great. Edward and Henry are definitely the main exceptions, even Gordon as well. But Henry, he just feels very special in a way. I honestly just love the fact that the Plarail Henry just exists. I mean, just look at it, it's beautiful, it's cream of the crop. And honestly, for this item, I give it a 10 out of 10. Magnificent item, no question.
So, funny story, I actually don't own a 2018 Henry, and that's not by accident because I think this model sucks! While it may not be the worst model Plarail's ever made, there are so many things wrong with this model, and most of them are just flat out lazy. Like the running board, for example. There are so many spots where the paint is missing on this thing. Like, Plarail didn't even bother to paint the spots between his wheel arches white. They also didn't paint the 2 red stripes that go on Henry's cylinders. And what the hell, they couldn't even put on those cool new looking side rods for the 2016 redesign of Gordon. And don't even get me started on this ugly ass looking face.
Oh god, you are a freak. You are an ugly freak.
I know this model is supposed to be based off the CGI Henry, but the CGI Henry also sucks ass, so fuck off.
You piece of shit!
Look, I'll try to be fair with this model by saying I don't think it's a complete disgrace like the 2018 Edward, but that's really not saying much now, is it? As I still think this is a much noticeable downgrade compared to the 2003 Henry. How is it that Plarail took 2 of their best models they've ever made and completely watered them down to shit? This model is just so bad, I'm not even gonna bother giving this thing a score. It just sucks.
You know what's funny? I actually wanted to put more emphasis on the 2018 Plarail Edward, but that was my chance to put on my emphasis on the 2018 Plarail Henry. It's lazy, I hate it. Look, I know a lot of people may look at this and just go, it's fine, I guess, for a CGI item, but there's just so many things wrong with this item. First off, not many details are put in, and it's just lazy. It's not 2018 Plarail Edward, I'll give it that. It's not as worst, but it could have been. It could have been a lot worse. And for that, I'm kind of gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Get it? 3 because he's the number 3 engine, and maybe it's not as bad as you expect, but still bad.
So now we're finally done reviewing every single Plarail model of Henry. I think it's finally time we see this guy in action. what are my final thoughts on the Plarail Henry? As I said before, it is perfect and is quite essential for any Thomas collection. Henry and Edward are the most important characters in the show, as they were the first 3 characters created by Wilbur Awdry, and they have a legacy that will go on forever. Despite Mattel's shitty treatment of these 2 in the past few years, and trying to replace them with a fucking African stereotype and a fucking yellow tissue box on wheels, they will never truly replace or live up to these 2 iconic legends. Thomas and Friends just wouldn't be complete without our one and only Henry the Green Engine.
Hey, wait a minute, what about the lady backstory? I want to know more about her, I want to do the Bertram backstory, and I want to do an Ari Bird's backstory at some point. Or, if you're going to do another character review, please, for the love of God, make me the backstory guy. I want to be the backstory guy, please, 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 please.
Oh my god, enough, dude! Jesus Christ! Bradley, we may be friends and all, but the video's already over, man! We're just dragging this out now. Look, respectfully, it's time for you to go. Now get out.
And we're still doing that Oliver review. Still. Not gonna be hiatus. And I'm making sure he gets the best backstory. Believe me, I know.
Get out!
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.